Welcome to Dual Realm Book Review YouTube channel. This week we're going to be talking about A Fate Inked in Blood. And I read the book. So Andy is going to be asking me some questions about it, see if it's something she wants to read, see what it's all about. So.
Okay. Let's start with what did you rate the Fate Inked in Blood?
So I ended up giving it 4 stars. And I'm not really sure if it's because I kind of lost interest right in the middle at about the 50% mark. And I don't know if it's because I'm just kind of over the fantasy genre at the moment, or I don't know. I just kind of lost interest in the middle, but it kind of picked up. I kind of feel like I just went into a reading slump right in the middle of reading this book. And it had nothing to do with the book, really, because there was a lot of action. There's a lot going on. That I liked the characters. They were fine. I just didn't want to read anymore.
So. Literary indigestion.
Yeah, exactly. So I ended up giving it 4 stars. You could ask me the rest of my questions because I'll cover why.
So something I was curious about Fate Inked in Blood is how does it navigate the balance between romance and fantasy?
So it is actually pretty balanced, in my opinion. You get a lot of romance. I wouldn't even say a lot. You get romance because the two main characters, male main character and the female main character, are kind of a bodyguard relationship. Bodyguard, like, not superstar, because it's like medieval Viking time period. But she is the like golden person. She's the one the prophecy is about. So he is her protector, bodyguard. And so that's kind of the romance trope that they go in with. So you get a lot of romance in there. However, the magic system is actually quite unique. So you get these God-blessed children. And so everybody gets their power by inheriting one drop of blood from Thor, from she's Helen. I forgot who the main guy gets his from, but Thor's in there, and Loki is in there. So you recognize them from Marvel, but they're actually from Norse mythology. And so it's interesting. So you get a lot of them in there. And then, yeah. So it's interesting the way you find out all the different powers that they get from their gods that give them their one drop of blood and whatnot. So it's very different from what I've seen. And it plays a large role. It's not an afterthought like you were asking me before. It's not an afterthought in this. It's very much entwined into everything about their character and how they move and how they talk and how they do everything. So it was very interesting.
And so my next question is spiciness. Can I read this book in public without blushing?
For the most part, yeah. It has the end. No.
So save the end for at home.
Yeah. I would say there's definitely odes to it. Like, they talk about it a lot more than they actually do it. But that's pretty much it. I would say there's like 2 spicy scenes.
Okay. So not very.
And one is kind of like they're play acting, but she's like, oh, I wish this was real.
Oh.
But they talk about sex, and like she talks about wanting to be with him way more than it actually occurs. But So that's kind of where I say there's a good amount of romance, because if you could split the story in half and have a fantasy storyline, you would have to obviously add some detail, but there is a separate storyline that is occurring alongside the romance storyline.
Okay.
Which is really interesting because she's coming into her own. She's figuring out her powers. She's figuring out how to use them and all this stuff. And so there is definitely that fantasy side. With a full fantasy plot, there's many, many characters. There's a lot going on with them and them betraying each other and keeping secrets and this, that, and the other. And then you have the romance side, you know. So they could kind of each stand on their own a little bit.
Okay. But it just kind of makes a fuller, wholer story together.
When you put them together, yeah. Like it kind of completes the tripod, you know, if you have them all together. You could separate them. You'd have to add more, obviously, to get a full story with them separated, but you could do it.
Okay, so it's not neglected. The the actual fantasy portion is not neglected.
And there's lots of action for you. That's not neglected either.
Yeah, no, that is.
She actually pulls out her sword and actually fights, and there are action sequences. And
it's like criticism I have of some romantasy.
Yeah, they skip the good parts, the good fantasy parts, like the good action parts.
Need all of it. It's all together.
Yeah. This one has everything for you. So
good whole all around. I will say, who is someone that you would recommend this to, and someone that you would not recommend this for?
So I would definitely recommend it to anybody who does enjoy romantasy. I think it is a great example of what romantasy is. I think it's a great example of romantasy. So if they like any part of that genre, I'll let 100% go. If they are annoyed by characters who make poor decisions a lot, probably not.
Probably not for them.
I think the main character can be. It's like, come on, why did you do that?
Yeah, sometimes a bad choice maker.
Yeah. So, next question. Oh, this is a single point of view, by the way, too.
Oh, okay.
I know you didn't ask that, but it's only her point of view.
Okay, that was my last.
Which I think is interesting too. Like, I think a lot of romantasy does dual points of view, and hers is just
a single,
the main female.
Okay, that was all of my Faint Ink and Blood questions.
Okay, sounds good. So, like and comment. Join us next week. I think we're going to be covering Light Lark. Well, we'll see whichever one I post. But anyway, like and comment. And let us know if you plan on reading A Faint Ink and Blood. If you have read it and you liked it, just leave us a comment. Thanks.